Hello, this is 3.6 Synthesis League, and this is probably be my last video about map farming loot from 100 maps. So this time I chose tier 16 Elder Precinct map. So the reason for this map is, first I wanted to farm experience, so I thought a tier 16 would be nice. And the reason for Precinct is that there is Saint's Treasure card, which is 2 Exalted Orb cards, and also Abandoned Wealth, which is a very rare drop and I never seen one, but you can get that from also in Precinct. And also the Undaunted card, that is a corrupted nemesis item card which you can get a headhunter. And for those who doesn't know Precinct that much, Precinct used to have a very bright floor, the layout, so it wasn't very good for your eyes actually, and you can't see the minimap if you are playing like this. And they changed it in 3.6 if you noticed, so it is now darker, so easy to do. So that's one of the reasons I try to do it again. So this is all the loot, starting with the currency. I believe there was more wall orbs and chaos orbs, but I missed some because of sometimes my stash stays like this, for example, and I go to put some modes here, and Zana uses the currency from these tabs instead of this, so that's why I believe I lost some chaos and wall orbs. But this is the currency after all. So 5 exalted seems a little high, but the reason for this is we are using lots of red sections, all red because it can't see any yellow. So you can get lots of nemesis monsters drop 3 additional currency. This happens a lot because we are using 4 red, and I get like 3 or 4 exalts from that second mode. And before going further about my gear, I'm only using one piece of quantity because I was leveling this character, so I didn't want to die. You can, of course, and you want to actually use more quantity gear because this is a tier 16 map and you are investing so many, so you must use more quantity if you want to farm more, because in the end, if you are farming this alone and like me using only one piece or even no quantity gear, you won't get that much of a profit, and you should do something else like a tier 13 tower or a tier 15 map. Unless you are doing a very much quantity gear investment and also playing in a party, then this may not be your farm map. And these are the maps and these are the cards. So Saint's Treasure is the Exalt Orb card. I got 13 of those. So in a 100 map, 13 of those means I get one almost every 10 maps. So with more quantity and even more players, if you are playing with a support or more friends, you can get a lot of these. You can also use, I'm not sure about the prices at the moment, but the divination card Scarab. These drops a lot in a party play, so you can get lots of currency back. And Jack in the Box, we can turn these in a minute. This can give a random unique that is in the game, even a headhunter or anything expensive. So it's a very big RNG, but it's fun to turn these in. So Encroaching Darkness as always. I picked these up, but I'm not sure if we can get anything worthy of selling. It's a unique sword card, corrupted. And gamblers, and there's not else. Also there's an undaunted that I mentioned earlier. So this can give you a headhunter, but the drop rate of this is a little low, so I only got 4. But I bought one, so we can turn this in the video. I also got Saints treasures to finish the rest, so we can turn these later. The maps, of course, I don't have all the precincts here because I need to run them, but this is the numbers. So I did 100 maps and got 105 back. This doesn't contain any of the Delve and Alva Temple or Synthesis memory voids, so these are only from the maps. I actually started with 6 or 7 maps because that's all I had, and I sustained, luckily. So all these maps, sorry, I need to drink water one second. I have allergies, so my throat isn't so good, sorry. So these are all the maps that I got from the Alva Temple Delve memory voids, so I didn't count any of these. I started with 6 or 7 maps and that sustained itself. These are all the bonus that you get from doing 100 maps, so that's a lot. I actually sold like 10 of these. Not very many people doing this map, because most people probably doesn't even know that it is worthy of doing. And as I said earlier, that the floor of the map is now darker, so it is easy to see what you are doing actually. So probably most people aren't aware of that also. So back to this. These are the maps. Well, I just wrote tier 10s too if you are wondering, but it doesn't matter because this is a tier 16 map, so this is not very worthy. 34 tier 11s, 37 tier 12s, 30 tier 13s, 34 tier 14s, 43 tier 15s, so these are like 7 chaos at the moment, and the rest of the is Elder Precinct. So as I said earlier, this profit actually isn't worth your time with this investment, 10 quantity, no party play, not anything, exploitable. I say I didn't use anything like that. Maybe I don't know what people are doing these days, but if there is anything to exploit the loot, I'm not doing it. So this is just normal regular runs that anyone can do with some investment to start, of course, because you need some red sextants, chisels, alchemy, all those kind of things. So I recommend you do this if you are going for more quantity gear, and it's also better if you are playing in a 2 or 3 man party with a support or something like that, because with full quantity gear you may start dying in a tier 16 map, and the map bosses are random exiles, and sometimes you get twin on the map, so there are like sometimes 10 exiles jumping around, so it can be deadly. So keep that in mind. And if you are walling your maps and you get like more exile bosses in the map, you sometimes get like 3 or 4 sacrifice fragments back. By the way, I didn't count any of the sacrifice fragments because I used all of those. So you get lots of sacrifice fragments back if you are corrupting your maps. So that's actually a more profit, considering the prices of the sacrifice fragments are now almost 2 chaos, most of the pieces, and maybe even higher. I don't know the current price. So yeah, you get lots of sacrifice fragments back because there are lots of bosses in the map. So let's turn these in first, and then I will explain how I rolled all my maps, and I will also explain the Elder influence. Let's talk about it. So this is a tier 16 map. You need to invest as much as possible. So Elder influence is something that you need to do let's just explain that first. At the moment my influence got broken because I stopped doing precinct. I finished my leveling in Moon Temple because it is faster. So this is how I block the way. I will explain that also. So this is the precinct. You need the Elder Influence here, like this. Because you are doing the precinct, nothing can happen here. It's just always Shaper Influence, Elder Influence, Shaper Influence. It's a ping pong. If something happens here, just sometimes, you know, these maps can get Shaper Influence and precinct don't have anything on it. So if that happens, just do one of these or wherever the Shaper Influence. It's usually on Arena or Park. For me, it happened. Just do one of those and the influence goes back to precinct. And you need to watch out for Arachnid Nest. If this gets shapered, just do it and make the Elder Influence goes here. You can also block this way or this way. I block these two so nothing happens from the upper side. So the Elder Influence can't push through the strongholds. To, you know, spawn the strongholds, of course these aren't here at the start. Just clear your other strongholds, make sure there are none. And then what you need to do is, let's give an example from here, but this influence isn't really good. So what I did is just make everything Elder influenced and pick one map that you want to put stronghold. Then make sure when you do that map gets no influence after that. So that means that you need to corner it in the middle or something like that. So if I Elder influence all these maps and then I do Belfry, there will be a hole here on the influence, if you understand what I mean. So this is all influenced and you do Belfry and now this is a hole. So there is nothing here. When you first do it, it's just empty map like this. Then just do a random map on the atlas without influence. And then Shaper influence will appear after doing one map or sometimes two. So hopefully it will be a stronghold. So you need to spawn the influence from nothing. So you can't just, do this crystal ore and hope that another Shaper stronghold spawns. That doesn't happen. You need to spawn the influence on a map that doesn't have anything like this. So you need to, corner it and do it so it's like a hole in the middle, and then it spawns. So to proc it, to proc the influence, the stronghold on Wharf, I did influence on all these, and even did these. So these are all influenced. I just want to make sure. Then I did the Wharf. So this is a hole in the middle because this is Elder influence. This is also Elder influence. This is Elder influence. It got stuck in the middle, so it's a hole. It's like a hole in the middle, and then it turned into stronghold. If it doesn't turn into stronghold immediately, just clear it again and just do a random map again and spawn the influence. It took me 3 tries, so just like 6 maps or something. It's very easy to do once you understand the mechanic. You can do malformation as I told earlier, but this isn't in a very good spot, so you need to influence all these. So and to prevent the influence from breaking, you probably need to go all these way around like this, because if you influence like this only and do the malformation, it will probably cut here, so you will lose all your influence from here, so you can't proc the stronghold. So you need to back it up like this maybe, but probably Elder Guardians also spawn, so it isn't a very good choice to put the influence on malformation, the stronghold. So you can also try these or even this side, or even crystal ore, yeah. So that's how I maintained all my influence. Let's trade these in. So I'm not sure if any of these worth anything, so I'm not gonna even bother checking them. So this might be good if depending on my lag, of course. Nice. Ooh, resolute technique. Again. These swords are actually good, but I'm not sure about the resolute technique. Let's just keep it. Lots of resolute techniques. So supports using this, but of course, what are you gonna do with a resolute technique on a support? Even getting swords from Jack-in-the-Box. What kind of luck is this? I thought this was the spider thing, but no, it's just a Widowmaker. So this gives 2 Exalt Orbs. And let's see if we get a Headhunter. Barracks Grip. With Hatred Aura effect. I'm not sure, need to check. I will check later. So now let's talk about how I did all my maps. So of course you chisel first. Alchemy. So I mostly chaos spammed because alchemy was like 1 to 2 and 2 alchemy is 1 chaos. So but at the moment it is 3 to 1, so you may use Scar and alchemy. But if you are low on alchemy, just chaos spam if you want. So let's see, this seems good. I mostly did like 85 or above quantity, which means 25, at least 25 pack size. If you see a beyond, you can keep it and use double beyond on Zana. And let's roll some. So anything below 80 isn't worth keeping, even though it has nemesis or bloodlines, anything. Just keep rolling. So 84 isn't very bad actually, but to sustain a tier 16, I don't think this is worth keeping. So I also rolled all of these because this doesn't have anything on it. If it had bloodline or something, you can keep it. You can also corrupt those. So these are the ones that I mostly did. And for Zana mods, bloodlines is good for experience and maps. If you are leveling, you can use beyond, but only the beyond bosses drop maps, so it's a very big RNG to get a tier 16 map from a beyond boss. It happens often enough, but it doesn't cover the price of the mod most of the time. So it is mostly for leveling, and if you have Headhunter, it's very good, of course. You can also use Harbinger, but I did lots of Harbingers on 3.5 Betrayal League, and it didn't really worth doing it. Breach is again not good these days because of the nerfs. Essence and Ambush, these doesn't do much. Actually 3 boxes means lots of monsters, but I'm not sure if it's worth it. You can just go Bloodlines, it is cheaper, and the magic monsters give more experience and a guaranteed high tier map drop if you get a map. That is also how you get tier 16 maps from tier 15 maps. So the bloodlines, the magic monsters are really good. Let's just turn these into, but I'm not sure there's anything special here. And then I think that's it. Let me show you the sextants once more. And that's it. So 4 sextants on Precinct, Bog, Carcass and Coliseum. I think this also sees it. You can also use it on Sunken City and Park. But I think it's better to start here like this. I mostly did like this rotation. But it doesn't really matter, I guess. I'm not sure about sextant blocking anymore after the changes to Atlas. So that's how I did my maps. You want more monsters, of course. I'm also rolling the strongbox sextants to make sure I get more monsters from the other mods. So what I kept was 30 mysterious barrels, and area contains additional monsters that deals lightning damage, chaos damage, fire damage, those kind of things. You can roll the physical one because mob monsters have proximity shield. If you the skill you are playing can't pierce through the proximity shields, they are very deadly. And also that mode means that you take increased physical damage from everything. So the beyond bosses like Bamet and Niam actually hits a lot. And also the map bosses, the exiles, most of them are melee characters like a duelist and marauder. So those guys start hurting very much. So don't keep the physical mode if you are leveling. It doesn't worth it. Just roll it for something else. So this map is mostly for leveling and some, Elder Shaper base items. I didn't actually got like a lot of valuable things. I probably sold like 200 or 300 worth of chaos item, 300 chaos. I didn't actually involve those in this profit. So it is possible that you get around 20 chaos profit if you are running more quantity. And also lucky with the drops. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and please leave a comment below if you have any questions. See you next time.